Happy New Year! Woo! 2026! Yay! I have not changed. I am still.
But you have changed.
I have changed spiritually.
Because it's 2026.
Yes, it's 2026.
No longer 2025.
I have a new mindset.
When the last time I saw you was in 2025.
That's right. It's 2025. So stay tuned because Marcus and I are going to talk about predictions for 2026, purpose and hope. So let's chat about that. Marcus.
Haole makabiki mo.
New Year tongue twister. I dare each of you to say that 3 times. Haole makahiki ho, haole makahiki ho, haole makahiki ho. Welcome to 2026.
Yes.
All right. Let's put on our little thinking caps to talk about what's coming up, because this is now 2026. People are watching, listening. They've celebrated the passing of 2025 with their families. Type us below if you're watching on YouTube or if you're even listening on the radio. We want you to kind of come into this podcast with that mentality of what they did for ending 2025 and moving into 2026. What did you do?
Well, I had my traditional soup. I'm going to have pig's feet soup from the Okinawan side. From the Japanese side, I'm going to have ozoni with mochi.
All right. So, and Marcus, as you prepare for 2026, what are you doing?
I'm cleaning house. I'm throwing out junk stuff. I'm recycling a lot at the Goodwill store nearby. And getting things cleaned up because I want to have a nice family gathering in February where I can invite all the relatives over to spend some time with my mother.
Oh, that's nice.
Who in December celebrated her 97th birthday.
Wow, Marcus, that is such a blessing to still have your mom around at 97.
It is. It's amazing.
Wow.
97, you know.
I know my dad's going to be 90 in 2026.
Wow.
So I'm right behind you, but and that's why we kind of laughed when we were talking about what it was like to grow up in Hawaii, right, in the 60s and the 70s and 80s or whatever. So I was going to ask if in the 80s you ever had the big hair thing, but that was a girl thing, not a guy thing.
Well,
the bands, the rock bands in the 80s had the big hair.
They had the big hair.
That was awesome. New Year's resolution. Do you have one?
Yeah, I think it's just to continue the course of being healthy, getting healthy. And the reason for that is because I need to be strong and healthy for my mom, strong and healthy for my wife, and then strong and healthy for...
Faith and family first.
Faith and family first. I'll just not say that. 3. Yeah, no, really. I think truly health is wealth, and you can't do anything without having a good, strong body. You know, taking care of the temple. It's true. You know, I said you got to take care of the temple. You know, clean it out. You got to polish it up. You got to kind of take care of it, and it pays off dividends.
Yeah, I think for me, my New Year's resolution is really going to be more about looking at my legacy, because we never know when the Lord is going to call us home. We never know. Right. I've known young people that have gone home to be with Jesus. And I've known our elderly kupuna who have gone home to be with Jesus. So what I want to do is I'm really thinking about, we had an assignment when in grade school, that what we would want to be on our tombstone, that one sentence.
Right.
And I remember that our teacher, and I've heard this from other people over the years, is your life is in the dash.
I've heard that.
Right? Because on your tombstone, it says born, whatever,
right.
dash, and then it has the day of your death. Yeah. So, what is the dash? And so for me this year, and I've actually kind of been moving toward this over the past year anyway, but I really want to be ready for when the Lord calls me, whenever that is. It might be another 20 years. It might be a week. We don't know, right?
We don't know.
So
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
my dash to count. So that's kind of what so everything I'm doing in 2026 is to focus on the dash. How about you, Miss Reagan? What is your New Year's resolution?
My New Year's resolution is this pretty similar to last year's, but it's just to pray more in my time alone
Wow.
or with my husband, just throughout the day, every day.
Well, I tell you what, prayer is going to make a difference. Whoever you're praying for, right? That's important. Prayer is really, actually, that's kind of a good thing to remind as I whack everything, remind ourselves in 2026 to start the day with prayer, like true prayer.
Yeah,
Right.
quiet time in the morning, first thing up, before you turn on everything else.
And here's a little
say
tip.
thank you.
Right. Here's a
Yeah.
little tip. If you forget to pray in the morning, oh my gosh, you still have how many hours to pray? So if you can't do it in the morning, do it at lunch. You can't do it at lunch, do it,
Yeah.
in the evening. If you come on now, even like before you close your eyes in prayer, before you close your eyes in sleep, you should be able to pray.
Yeah.
Right? So there's no excuse if you don't get to it, right? That's so good. All right, let's talk about what we think 2026 is going to bring, maybe politically.
Well, it's an election year. All of the House members are up for re-election November of 2026. Half of the senators. So I think 13 of the 25, all 51 House members are up. I think we have a congressional race also coming up. I'm not sure if there's a U.S. Senate race. Also the gubernatorial race coming up in 2026.
And to get to an election, we've got a report card, which means what they're doing during the legislative session.
That's correct.
Right.
You know, you guys are keeping track. You're keeping track.
Yeah, we
of
are. We are.
How these people are voting on certain measures and certain types of measures.
Do you think, and this is curious, and Reagan, as you're sitting in the background too, I'd be curious to what you think. What about churches? Do churches and pastors have report cards?
I think they should.
I think they do. I really do. I agree. I think they need to be measured. If you don't, you can't appreciate unless you measure something.
What about the scripture in the Bible? Mene, tekel, I forget how it goes, but this is where was it the church technically, or was it the government that was graded by God? I have weighed you and I have found you guilty.
Oh, that sounds serious.
It does. It does. Well, how would a church
Well,
rate a pastor? I mean, how do you?
The church is the people.
Yeah, I think it's the people, it's the congregation, those who attend. Are they getting fed? Are the meals sumptuous? Are the meals nutritious? So is the word, are they serving the word? Is it strengthening the body? Is it encouraging the body? Is it healing the body? Is it lifting the body? You know, there's all kinds of ways of establishing criteria and evaluating the performance.
So let's.
But the leadership has to be accepting.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
or
right.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're sitting in the pew,
Yes.
right? You're grading.
Yes.
You're and like you said, you're looking at how you're being fed. Are you being fed?
Right.
But it's looking around and seeing, is the church growing? Is the church a place of fertile fields?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And because the church should be growing, and I'm not necessarily even talking like bodies, because the church can grow and have a few new members, but it's fertile. You can see that the people that are attending are being fed. I think that we could take a step further and ask, is your family growing? And I'm not talking new people, because you might be an elderly couple where you can't have more kids, but where is the is the faith in your family growing? And if it's not, a simple question of why.
Right.
Right. And that, I guess, maybe begins on ourselves, looking at ourselves, because we should be, and because we talked about it in the last show, right? That if we're representing Christ, we are going to make a difference, or whoever we're around.
Yeah.
I know because I have a daughter that was born and raised in the faith, but does not have it now. She's of the generation where she likes to say that she doesn't believe in spirituality in the way that we believe in spirituality. She kind of believes in a God, that there is, there is a supreme being out there. My other daughter definitely has faith. I raised them exactly the same. So my question is for myself, and maybe it's a question we all should ask, is how do we then continue to bring the faith into our family if we don't have members that necessarily believe the way that we believe? Because it shouldn't stop. My faith is not going to stop because my younger daughter has chosen a different path. So I, over the Christmas holiday, right, I was thinking, how do I bring Jesus to her without angering her, right? So I don't know. In 2026, how do we do that?
Well, I think I talked about it last time or several times ago, but one of the most powerful methods is through song and music. And that's why I love the Christmas carols. I love those Christmas seasons because if you look at the language, you look at the words, the lyrics of these songs that people are singing, that's playing on a popular radio station. These are, if you look at the words itself, these are all songs of praise, of worship, of adoration. Gloria. You know what I mean? I mean, it's that. So exposing that, I think there's some blessing there.
And the message of Reagan, right? Which is prayer.
Just prayer. Yeah.
I think for me, my younger daughter has no idea how often I pray for her.
Without ceasing.
How I anoint everything. She has no idea. That like things that she's taking to work or whatever. I prayed over. And this, I had mentioned earlier in one of the earlier shows that I worked for a corporation that wanted to take Christmas out of the holidays, right? Because they didn't want to offend anyone. So everything was going to be the holiday season, season. And when I was getting ready to leave and move on to my next job, we and a few of the other Christians I worked with, and some of them listened to this show. You all remember this, where we were anointing everything in this company. We would come early in the morning. Yeah. We would start with prayer, and we would just anoint like everybody's desk. We would anoint the coffee. I'm serious. The chairs, the coffee room, right? Because we knew that we can't force anybody to do anything, but we surely can pray for them.
Yeah, I did something similar like that when I had an opportunity to repaint the old dingy walls of my office. My friend Jim and I, he brought a bottle of some oil. And we poured it into the paint bucket, put a lot in a 5-gallon bucket, mixed it up really well, and then we painted the walls with that.
Well,
and then it was kind of interesting because for the next week or so, people in the office going, "Wow, Marcus, you painted your office?" I said, "Yeah, it was really nice, but what kind of paint did you use?"
Yeah, what is that smell? My mom remembers praying for you. When she met, we went to the mainland with the family policy people, and you came, I don't know if you came up with ADF or there was something or whatever. And my mom met you, and she said, that Marcus guy, the Lord is going to use him. The Lord is going to use him. And there's other people I've met that have said that they've prayed for you in your office and all of that. So I don't know, the power of prayer. Maybe that's how we should start 2026.
I think so.
With anointing everybody.
I think so.
So let's talk about what gives us hope, because in 2026, there are, first of all, so you talked about elections. We talked about the legislature. What about SCOTUS? We got some things coming up in 2026, Marcus.
Yeah, I have some great hope there, because I think there's some certain fundamental rights, religious rights cases that are going to be decided, and I think many people of faith are going to be quite pleased with those decisions. And I'm looking forward to them. There's several that we kind of talked about in the past.
Yeah, and stay tuned, because Marcus and we're going to be reaching out to some of these attorneys that are going to be
like Brad.
Yeah. We're going to be talking to ADF on the case that's coming up with Don O'Brien.
So with Babylon B.
Yeah, because you went and you actually sat there and listened to the.
I did. By God's grace, I had an appointment that morning. Very important one, but
we'll add in a picture.
Ended early, and I got to go and went into the federal district court. I got to sit in there right behind the plaintiff, Dawn O'Brien. Said hi to her, and I saw one of the local attorneys besides the two ADF attorneys.
Sean Louise,
yeah.
We'll try and have Sean on. Maybe we'll get Sean on.
Yeah, it was really good. So I sat there for an hour or so and heard the arguments of the Deputy Attorney General. And the city attorney was also there. And, of course, the colloquy that occurred between the federal district court judge and the attorneys. And I was quite impressed with the questions and the knowledge that the judge had coming into the hearing. And so I feel good about where I think the case is going to end up. Okay,
so that's something positive we can look forward to, right? Is some of the decisions coming down from SCOTUS, but the legislature is going to happen first. What do we think is going to be coming up? I can tell you that we're going to be dealing with marijuana, recreational marijuana. Gambling is going to be a thing.
I just heard today. I read it somewhere about the Department of Hawaiian Homelands, and I think the Hawaiian Homelands commissioners may have taken a position on gambling, and I think it might be gambling on Native Hawaiian lands. That's something that I'm concerned about. I think many others should be concerned about because they have a special legal status under the Federal Hawaiian Homes Commission Act, Hawaiian Homes Act, and the land that they hold which is a unique type of holding, a unique legal structure in our system of government. So I'm kind of disappointed to hear that. I understand where they might be coming from, but nonetheless, I think that's going to be a big one. And I'm going to be changing my hat for now because it's not so much a free speech issue, but it's going to be one of predatory gambling that I'm going to be using all my time, energy that I have to stop gambling coming to Hawaii.
Yeah, and President Trump has said that he's going to reschedule marijuana, which actually started under the Biden administration. Biden had actually talked about rescheduling it. Which is going to be now. They're not saying legalize it, but they are to change it from one level to another. It is going to be a very dangerous thing, I think.
I think it's a terrible idea. It's for me, it's a big disappointment. But I think it's one of the commercial enterprises that have the president ears at this point in time because it's such a billion-dollar industry. Recreational marijuana, legal marijuana, is the equivalent of a modern-day tobacco industry. Same marketing ploys, same addictive features, same perpetuation of the next generation of addicts through the marijuana products. That's what it's for. It's to generate money. So it's the new tobacco. And unfortunately, the president has expressed support for the changing of the scheduling of marijuana to a less dangerous category.
And it's interesting because he did make mention that he is concerned about the danger to our youth, but he's going to do it anyway.
I want to hear from his Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert Kennedy.
Yeah, because HHS on another issue has just released the dangers of gender affirming care on our youth. And that's going to come up because our local LGBT plus Q group is really wanting to do some legislation on allowing our kids to access gender affirming care. So that's going to come up.
I think people got to remember that last year, fortunately, it was an answered prayer, I believe, that Senate Bill 1305 was paused, was put on the side, didn't move. It kind of stayed there, but it's still there.
It's still there.
It's still in the Senate, and it can quickly move.
And during the in-between session and opening of session, there's been some heavy lobbying from the LGBTQ plus group that is really wanting to get some legislation. So I don't know whether that's going to be a constitutional amendment. They believe that it should be a constitutional right to access. I don't know if they're going to do that or if they're going to move another bill or use the same vehicle. I don't know. We know that the constitutional amendment for contraception is already in the process.
So-called reproductive services.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So we have to watch that. That's going to be a thing. It's going to be an ugly legislative session.
I think for people of faith, Christian Catholic faith, they got to be on guard and they got to be attentive. And, there's no second chances. This is it.
Yeah.
So strap on your big boy pants, your, big girl pads. And you got to get in there, man. This is it.
Now, we're not going to be taking any action on the vaccination bills, but there is going to be some vaccination bills that are also going to be put forth. We will put out information for those of you that do want to get involved on those issues. So you've got to sign up to get our alerts. Otherwise, you're not going to know when these things come up. So sign up at hawaiifamilyforum.org. And make sure that you ask to get our alerts right there on our front page. You'll be able to do that. You got to pray about all of these things. Plug in with your local churches so that you have a community that's ready to stand together when these things come up. Very important. We started this episode with prayer. We got to keep it going through the whole thing. You got to stay in prayer about these things.
Yeah.
You need to learn and engage locally, and the only way you can do it is to sign up to get our alerts. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about encouragement. Because people need to be encouraged to stay plugged in. We've talked about all this negative stuff.
I've learned this year. One lesson I learned this year is that the task at hand can be so daunting. The odds can be so seemingly insurmountable. And for the minority voice, whether it's political minority or a discrete minority group in our community, it can seem like, why should I care? Mm-hmm. I can't make a difference.
Right.
It's just a handful of us.
Even with elections, they're going to say the same thing. Yeah. My one voice is not going to make a difference.
Yeah. And I tell people, no, those are all true. Those are all real assessments. But.
Then let's talk about your big butt.
But I said, but. Did you just say that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I hope you don't get in trouble for that.
I'm not going to, because we are talking about a very big butt.
However, the other side of the coin is this. You have an opportunity. And knowledge means responsibility. So once a listener or a viewer learns about these facts, learns about these threats, we've done our job. And I'm going to sound the alarm. I'm going to be the watchman on the tower.
Ding, 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 ding.
Fire. Okay, I'm going to be that guy on the wall. Because I'm not going to be held responsible and have the people's blood on my hands if these things go down. It's going to be up to the legislators, the 76 and the governor and lieutenant governor. It's going to be the 78 elected officials locally who are going to decide the fate of 1.4 plus million people who call Hawaii home. They're going to decide. But we're going to let them know these are the threats, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, moms and dads, uncles and aunties, keiki to kupuna, that are going to affect you guys. Stand up or stand aside because it's coming.
Yep. So you can be one of those people that if the dam is leaking, you can go ahead and stick your little finger in the hole, hoping that it's going to stop the leaking of the dam. Or you can be one of those people that listen to the watchman on the wall and, let's not just poke our fingers in the leaking dam. Let's fix the dam.
Yeah, you guys, this is the time. I think
Yeah.
2026 is a great time. I mean, the fact that we're alive, we're free, we can go out there, do that, register to vote, learn about elected officials, engage them. They work for you. They get their paycheck every 2 weeks from you. You're entitled to that.
Yep.
You're their boss, but you got to get engaged.
You absolutely have to. Somebody is going to be raising their voice.
Yes.
And you can either be part of the ones that make a voice for change, or you can stand and let somebody else's voice make the change for you. And we already know by history what voices are heard.
Yeah, and it's tools like this that really cut through all the mess, because most of the traditional media, when I say traditional media, I mean the legacy media, the ABC, CBS, KITV, KGMB, KHON. They're going to have the traditional narrative. Like the MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, the traditional narrative now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And, that's just, but we gotta get real. Come on, let's get real.
I know. And stop following the voices that are telling you the sky is falling, because there's a lot of voices out there too that are yelling the sky is falling. And that's fine, because we do want to know if the sky is falling, but we want to help you with tools that's going to allow you to raise your voice in the right way. And that's why Hawaii Family Forum was established back in 1998, so that we could help you raise your voice at the Capitol with the right way, with the right tools, and to be that voice of reason. There's a lot of voices out there. There's a lot of voices. Yeah. Some of them are good. So, we're definitely not telling you, not to listen to the voices, but we want to give you some tools as we speak. So what's your last minute of hope for 2026?
I think we're going to have a record voter turnout in 2026.
I like it a lot.
I really believe so. I think people are going to understand that they have a right and responsibility to cast their vote. And we make it so darn easy in Hawaii to express your opinion through your vote. I think that's good. And I think there's also a chance that a constitutional amendment could be on the ballot for people to consider. And I think that's an important question for all of us to consider.
Yep. And what do you like to remind people about a constitutional amendment? How easy is it to stop a constitutional amendment?
It's better to stop a constitutional amendment during session, during those 3-4 months between January and April, than it is to lobby against it once it gets out. Because 78% of those constitutional amendments that are approved by the legislature develop legs, and they start running very, very fast, sprinting almost. And more likely than not, they'll pass if you do not stop them in the legislative process. So that's where you put your time and energy.
Yep. And that's why we're asking you to raise your voice. So we appreciate you spending time with us on this very first show of 2026. We just want to make a couple of announcements. First of all, we're looking for people to sponsor the show. We want to grow the show. We want to be able to do more fancy things. You guys want all these great B-rolls and all that. Well, it costs money to do that. So if you're invested and you want us to grow the show, then we're looking for sponsors like you. You don't have to be a rich person, just somebody who's willing to invest a little bit in the show. So reach out at eva@hawaiifamilyforum.org if you're interested in making that happen. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know every time we upload a new video. You need to share the video, because if we don't get higher numbers, the algorithm doesn't kick in, which means people don't know about the show. So if you like the show, then make sure you take a moment to like it, because that really does make a difference with YouTube. So Marcus and I, we're going to be around. So make sure you visit us next week when we come back on the show, and we will see all of you next week. Mahalo, everybody, and Happy New Year.